I'm just traveling along this morning in my car after my taxi route and wanted to share a few things. Some years ago, I was really having a hard time with my natural calling in life. I had lost my footing and lost my job and was trying to gain control or footing in painting business and was having a hard time getting anywhere. It's just kind of disappointed and depressed about it. I was in a so what mode. So what, my life sucks, pardon the expression, mode. And I had worked for a company for 20 years as a painter. I really learned a lot. I was specialized in spray work. And so I was just trying to make it after I lost my job and was disappointed that I couldn't seem to get a footing. Where after all the years that I had done things, I had 10 years of auto body experience, 20 years of high-end car or house painting experience, specialized in spray work, and here I am, nowhere. My kids were ready to, one of them was ready to go into college, and in fact may have been in college by then, and I didn't have any money to help them with college at all. I had a pen that I could sign my life away with, which I did for loans for them. Eventually got to a point where I didn't even have good enough credit to do that, and they had to get their own loan. And so, I loved the Lord and joyfully worshiped Him and everything, but it's like, well, but life has to work too. I do have a natural life here. I'm a father, a husband, a businessman, and just can't seem to get a footing here. So one day, I had a job on the west side I was doing. It was way over in Avon Lake, which is about 65 miles. And it was a Saturday. And I'm just by myself, working away. I worked hard, I worked diligently, I worked skillfully, but felt like, so what? It's gotten me nowhere. Look where I am. God doesn't seem to have opened any door for me. And my life sucks was my baseline. And so it's in the afternoon. I'm in Avon Lake working on this house on a Saturday, and I remembered that once a month on Saturday evening, the church that we had gone to for a few years down in Solon, Gateway Church, moved to Aurora, it was having Saturday night meetings that were a little more open, and they weren't as strict with how the service went, and we didn't get a sermon preached. It would be somebody in the area that had a ministry that just basically told their testimony. And so I decided that I would just go to that. And so I left work at probably 5 o'clock. And it was a good distance just to get to Solon. And I went there, and people knew me and, said hello. And we had some worship music we did, and I sang the songs, and it was like, well, that's nice, but my life sucks. But so what? That was, kind of a so what mode. And then they had the guest speaker come in and share his testimony. It was good. I enjoyed it and could relate to some things. And like, yeah, but so what? It didn't fix my life. So they had some prayer afterward. They invited people to come forward for prayer for this guest man to come and pray for people. So I just kind of so whatishly went up front. And the guy made his way over to me eventually and said some good things, kind of prophetic edge to him. They were very good. And then he kind of finished and moved on to the next person. And I was like, so what? My life hasn't changed. And so as I was standing there, this was at a private Christian school. They had a typical school gymnasium with a theater type stage, real tall ceiling with a curtain you could draw and close the whole thing. And it was a good sized stage, the whole width of gymnasium basically. And with my eyes closed and standing there, I saw what I would say was an angel, a figure, just in the spirit of my mind. It was like I was having a dream and I'm wide awake. It was pretty clear, pretty specific. And this angel figure had wings, as you would, has been artistically shown, you know, that angels have wings, which I don't know about. But this figure was very big. It was the complete height of the ceiling of the area, you know, the stage. And it was looking at me. And it looked at me with a smile, kind of like a glint in its eye, like it had something for me. And it looked at me deliberately and puffed its wings toward me. I was like, whoa. And then it did it again with a little more force. Then it looked at me with a, now you're really gonna get one, and stepped forward and really gave you a hard puff, and I was suddenly on a mountaintop. None of my troubles bothered me. I didn't have any troubles. It didn't matter. All of a sudden, my situation that I have described to you didn't matter at all. I was on cloud 9. I was completely free of any worry, of any stress, of any downcastness. I felt like I was on the mountaintop. None of my troubles mattered. Now it was the opposite. None of my troubles mattered. So what? I haven't gotten anywhere. So what? I got the Lord. And I stayed on that mountaintop for a couple of weeks. I mean, I was walking on air. I was the one turning around and ministering to people. People had come up to me while I was standing up there after a while, some old friends, and laid hands on me knowing I was struggling, and began praying that God would heal me and different things. And I said, and when they finished, I said, you know, I had to turn around and minister to them. I laid hands on them. You don't understand. God has done something just now for me and completely set me free. It doesn't matter my circumstance. It really doesn't. I'm so full of strength and joy and the power of the Lord, that now doesn't matter. It was complete opposite. So I remind myself of this now and then and look back on that, what happened, and my experience there. And it helps refresh me and bring me back to when God is in your life. In some ways, nothing else matters. You can still rule and reign with Christ, regardless of what it looks like on the outside. So I leave that with you.